back, everyone. It's a pleasure to have an amazing guest here today with us, Harrison James. How are you, mate? You well?
I'm well. How are you?
Good, mate. I'm really keen for this one.
Yeah, thank you for having me. I really appreciate the platform. It's great to come on and talk.
Beautiful. Can't wait for it. Yeah. Wrong switches, everyone. Thanks for tuning in again. The last episode was awesome. Good mate David. We'll get into that in another episode about the Oz tag and all that stuff, all those good things. So, pretty phenomenal weekend. Didn't quite come away with the chockies, but it's all right. Like I said, we'll get back to that on another episode. So, quick 3 rules. Everyone knows the quick 3 rules. Swearing's all good. Go for your life if you muck up.
Awesome.
There's no dramas at all. You know, it's who you are, and if it's I don't want you to be fake on the show. So just go for it. Enjoy yourself. Smile while you do it. Mate, smile's free. There's nothing. You know, and no yes or no answers. You know, like rate a bit. So just enjoy yourself. Let's get into it.
Awesome.
Introduce our guest, Harrison James. Mate, you wanted to say a quick thing?
I just wanted to start today's conversation by acknowledging that we are on Gadigal land of the Eora Nation, and I pay my respects to the traditional custodians of this land, as well as pay my respects to the elders past, present and emerging, and I extend that respect to any Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people listening today. I'd also like to acknowledge lived expertise, like survivors that will be listening today. I know survivors follow me and they'll be wanting to hear what I have to say, so I'm very privileged to be representing them, and I hope they like what I have to say.
Privileged to have you on the show, mate. It really is, honestly. Thank you so much for coming on. You know, we've been jumping back and forth over the last couple of weeks trying to get this going.
Yeah, I know.
I was away, you're busy kind of thing. You were busy, so mate, we've locked in a time, penciled in. Can't wait, mate. Yeah. Harrison James, who are you, mate? Where are you from?
I am a survivor advocate. I am the founder of a clothing brand called Fucking Justice, as well as
which I love.
Yeah.
Plug it in here.
Pretty cool.
We'll be dropping the links in the bio and all comments and stuff like that. Yeah, absolutely, mate. No dramas.
I'm also the founder of Consent Condoms, which is a condom brand that promotes consensual sex.
Absolutely.
Which is imperative in a time like this, and I'm a Polished Man ambassador.
Yep.
For that charity, and I'm also an advisory group member for Full Stop Australia, which is another charity, but we pretty much just give our advice and change laws.
Full on.
It's non-stop. It's like it's
24 hours a day. Mate,
I do that full time, and then I just work at a bar just to get money coming in, and it's just like full on all the time. Yeah. But where did I come from? I was born in Bondi. Raised in Botany.
Yeah.
So,
mate, I swear, it's the Botany chest,
it's the Botany
film,
thing.
Mate. I've had 3 blokes on here now.
Yeah.
Botany, me, Botany, and mate Ethan Botany. It's quite funny.
There we go.
Yeah, it's a small world,
it's a very small world. Yeah. But like, we knew each other because our aunties were friends in high school and stuff.
Mum and auntie,
so that was always pretty cool. But I was raised there, and then I guess I'll just get into the story, just briefly. My story is out there for anyone that wants to go check it out. But
100%.
So like I said, I was raised in Botany. Then we moved. Parents split up.
Yeah.
And we moved to Matraville, and then that was around, the 7th grade when all this happened. So just going into high school.
Yeah, I remember that.
Going into high school is tough enough.
Absolutely, mate.
Heavy, and then dealing with that is just an extra added layer. And then so I didn't see my father for whose name I won't mention names in this story too for legal reasons. But,
absolutely.
I didn't see him for a long time.
Yeah.
And then you develop this sort of longing for a father figure.
Yeah.
And so I moved back in with him a year later, a couple of years later.
Yeah.
And that was at Coogee, and he was remarried to this woman from the Philippines.
Yeah.
And I was 13, and she took advantage of me sexually from the ages of 13 to 16.
Yeah.
And it happened before and after school every day. And I'd go to school and not say anything, and just protect her, because I was in this sort of state of being in love. Do you know what I mean? And I needed to protect her. You know what I mean?
You're not really sure what's going on.
Exactly. And when you've got a woman that's telling you you're the man in this relationship, you need to be tough and strong. You know, it's just a head fuck for a
absolutely.
13, 14, 15-year-old kid.
Now, we're 23 years of age. Imagine 10 years ago.
It's been almost a decade since the last thing happened. And then at 15. My stepmother actually fell pregnant, and my daughter was born, and I had to pretend that she was my sister for a long time, until I was 19, and she fled the country, and I lost my daughter. I haven't seen my daughter since they fled, and it's trying to figure stuff out now, but it's just hard because international waters and stuff like that.
Yeah,
but,
absolutely.
Then I went to a mental health rehab, which is the best thing I've ever did, because I was like, I want to sort it out now, not when I'm 40 with kids. I want my kids to have the best possible life. I don't want my shit on that. You know what I mean? So
weight on them, what kind of weight on their shoulders?
Exactly right. Like I want to be the dad for my kids that my dad wasn't for me.
Okay.
Do you know what I mean? So
absolutely.
But like we said, and I was silent for a long time, and I didn't speak up because, like many children that experience child sexual abuse, I didn't have the language to explain what was happening. You know what I mean? I didn't even have the mental capacity to think that this was this was just normality for me. So I just wish the adults around me at the time promoted not keeping secrets and provided safe spaces to open up instead of just reacting to each minute situation. And,
absolutely.
All I needed to know was that I was safe.
Yeah.
All children need to know that, So
it's quite a it's tough in a way. Like it's something so simple. Like I'll always go back to the those three words like, are you okay? Like you know what I mean? All it takes is a simple, are you okay? Or like a message like, hey bro, hey mate, how you going? You know what I mean? And it's quite overlooked.
Yeah, definitely.
And as frustrating as it is, there's so many people out there that are going through something like this, or not quite like this, but something that's quite challenging.
Well, let me ask you, just as a guy that goes about his business every day, how often do you think children are? I know it's a heavy topic, but there's 26 million in Australia people. 5 million are children. What would you guess? Like 1 in 50,000?
Probably.
1 in
maybe more.
It's 1 in 6.
That's fucking crazy.
It's 1 in 6. So that's a few kids every classroom that this is happening to.
If you put it in that perspective, that's even more. Yeah.
So everyone has a role to play in this. Everyone has to put their hand up and call out things. You know what I mean?
You don't really hear about it.
You don't hear about
That's
it.
what I'm saying. Like, I would guess 1,100,000.
Yeah.
Not 1 in 6.
1 in 6.
That's
so out of 5 million kids, that's about 833,000.
No.
Like, it's an epidemic.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like, we need to
get on this.
Yeah, like it's massive. Like no kid deserves to go through this. At all.
Absolutely. Quickly.
Yeah.
From your video that you put out on Instagram, which is very brave.
Yeah.
Very courageous. I want to just touch on Dr. Brene Brown.
Yeah.
Is a big kind of
influence on
you.
Yeah.
Do you want to just touch on what she talks about? And
well, the main thing that I got from her is that there's vulnerability in courage.
Yeah.
There's courage in vulnerability. Yeah. Right. Being vulnerable is like one of the most courageous things I think anyone can do.
Absolutely.
So I think, the contribution of sacrificing your story for everyone to comment on.
Yeah.
And, when you know that you put it out there and you know that people are going to say that, to do that in the face of that fear and like still do that, it's pretty amazing.
That's unreal.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't like to toot my own horn a lot, but
no,
like it is pretty phenomenal. The way I put it for people, like, so they get a context is like, it's when an artist puts his artwork in the gallery for the first time.
Yeah.
He doesn't know how people are going to react.
Exactly right.
It's like they can love it or they can hate it.
Exactly
but the fact that it's out there making people feel something is what this community needs.
Yeah.
So if I put it out there and I just told you that statistic, you felt something then.
Yeah, 100%.
Like, you know what I mean? So
absolutely.
That's the initial jump that we need to.
Yeah, for sure.
And anyone watching this, they'll hear it and be like, fuck.
Wow.
You know what I mean?
There's always a story behind it. You know what I mean? Like the story's the most important thing. Like if you can like open up and really talk about, what's going on in your life, what's going on in your head, whether it be, relationship drama, ambassador stuff, like that kind of, you know what I mean? Like a survivor advocate and like money, anything, anything along those lines. If you can open up to someone and really talk about it, like you've passed that big step, that hurdle.
Yeah.
If you can get past that first hurdle, it's so much easier.
Yeah, exactly. Easier. And I think personally, my excellence shines through in my ability to come out the other end of the trauma and be able to articulate it. Yeah, which quite amazing. What we're talking about. Yeah,
it's quite fucking amazing.
22.
Yeah,
like
it's wild.
It's pretty. Yeah, I'm pretty proud of myself. Yeah. So
just touching back on everything that's kind of happened from that age, 13 to 19, 18.
Yeah.
How people are going to be curious, like they're going to be like, how did you deal with it? Like, how did you come out the other end? Like we just talked about, how did you find that light at the end of the tunnel and be like, I'm okay. Like, I will get through this. Like, what did you do to get to that point?
So I realized my life changed when I realized it's not my fault what happened, but it is my responsibility to do something great with it.
I like that.
You know what I mean? Like it's so, but that came with a lot of hard work. That's easy to say, but it's hard to actually put into action.
Yeah.
That came with a lot of hard work. So 19, like she fled the country, and I was to throw me under the sorry. My dad was with her at the time.
Yeah.
Even though she was with me, I say, but like I was getting abused. She wanted to escape my dad, so to throw my dad's focus off her leaving, she threw me under the bus by falsely accusing me of rape.
Yeah.
And then I had to come clean with the story of what happened. Like I was 13, 14, and this is potentially my daughter.
Yeah.
And then I went to rehab, like I said, I put my hand up and said, I need help. Yeah. And that is like,
it's not easy
for a man to do that, especially, like 75%, like
it's crazy.
of all suicides are men.
It's crazy.
It's the leading cause of death, you know, for men, and from 25 to 45, I think it is. I think that's the statistic, but
nuts.
And look, the reason I do what I do is because I know when I was a 14-year-old boy, if I saw a man talking about what I'm talking about, that could have like put my abuse to an end then and there. You know what I mean? So if I can be for the little boy what I needed at the time, like if I can be that for the little boy today, just for one kid, I've done my job. Yeah, you know,
absolutely.
Yeah, so
I respect that more than anything. You know, it means more than words. Like it's one thing like starting something, and so it's another thing like doing it.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Exactly.
It's you can say this and say that to yourself. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. I want to do this. That's it. But the next thing is you've got to put those words into action. Yeah, you really got to press forward and do it. And that's the hardest part. That really is the hardest part.
The first step is the hardest step.
Absolutely.
And the thing is, I don't want to deny that it's a bed of I don't want to make out it's a bed of roses now. I'll forever deal with this. Like life for a trauma survivor is just as much about how to manage life after as it is the actual event. Like for any trauma. It's like if it's a cancer survivor or even going through a breakup or something, that is hard to go through. You know what I mean? So
no one wants to go through it, but it's it's a part of life.
Without validation of that original impact, a survivor will have an extremely difficult time trying to navigate through it. So that's why it's so important we believe survivors when they come forward.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because victim blaming is a massive thing that we face. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So Polished Ambassador.
Yes.
Talk to me about that. How's that?
That was just one of the best things ever.
Yeah,
I loved it. Polish Man saw my video.
Yeah.
And they're like donating months during October.
Yeah.
And men paint one nail to sort of start a conversation. Like I knew it works too. Like I work at a bar. When I served the old mate his beer by the bar, he's like, "What's going on there with the nails?" Yeah. And you're like, "Well, it's actually for this." Yeah. And it starts that conversation, like puts that sort of seed in. And we raised a little bit of money, and I got money through the clothing brand and just putting it on my stories and stuff like that. So yeah. The
power of social media, right?
Yeah, the power of social media. It's pretty cool.
It's incredible. So I just want to now touch on like the which I think is incredible, the fucking justice.
Yeah.
I remember when you first kind of were, bringing it to life on Instagram, and I was following you a little bit, and I was like, this is pretty cool. Yeah. Like this is fucking cool.
Thank you.
Like, what is fucking justice? Kind of, give us a bit of backstory to what it is.
I'm going to go on a bit of a rant now.
Go for it.
Is that okay?
Absolutely, mate. That's what we're here for.
So with fucking justice, right? Its original formation was based off the fact that I was angry with how I was treated. Yeah. Right? It was like, as a survivor, I gained this emotional intelligence and empathy that essentially made me want to do something to fix the issue. And, I just didn't want to leave these issues with the next generation to deal with.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? So I didn't want anyone to go through anything similar to me. So I understood that monumental task, and I developed this overwhelming responsibility to inspire change. So clothing, art, and design has always been a vessel for me to communicate. Yeah. When I didn't have language, that was my control. Yeah. That was like in a situation where, I couldn't express my artistic expression was the only thing I had to say over the one thing that gave me a sense of stability and
Yeah.
escapism and stuff. So
Yeah.
that's how this came through. It was just a merge of trauma and creative expression, you know. But
I love it.
the real power to it, Darcy, is if I come up to you on the street and I tell you my story,
Yeah.
your reaction's probably going to be, oh my God, I'm so sorry that happened to you.
Yeah.
But if I give you this hat and I say, this is my clothing brand, we raise money to end violence against children, a lot of the time people on the street go, where the fuck can I find that?
Absolutely.
That is so cool.
Yeah.
So it's a roundabout way
Yeah, okay.
of getting people comfortable with the uncomfortable.
Yeah. And
You know what I mean?
That's what the show's all about.
Yeah,
like, you know?
yeah, you know, so it's like, also, if someone buys this and it's on the hat stand at home and, you know, the family walks in, they go, who's this? And then the kid goes, oh, it's Harrison James, he's a survivor and he's raising money to end violence. That's my story extending to 4 or 5 people in the house.
Absolutely.
You know? And then also, there could be a kid that's been silent for a decade like me. He puts this on and he just gets that little bit of confidence. You know what I mean? So, and he can come forward with his story.
Yeah.
You know, so it's just about, like, I'm trying to evoke the feeling of when you get the new pair of Air Jordans. You know what I mean? And you put them on.
Yeah,
it's like, I'm going to jump high, I'm going to jump. All the girls will love me.
Yeah.
You know, but it's like, it's actually quite ingenious how I market it, because when Nike tries to sell you a pair of Air Jordans, they're like, you need these to be better.
Yeah.
But when I sell you a hat or a shirt, I'm saying you're already good enough.
Yeah, okay.
Your empowerment is everything. Yeah. You are good enough.
I like that.
This is not, you know, you don't need this to be better. You are the best. And I'm supporting your story and your path. And it's for the underdogs, you know.
Yeah.
You know?
Well,
so that's what it's for. Yeah. And I think there's a real power to it. And I don't think, like, I'm glad that I put this explanation out there for everyone to hear now.
Absolutely.
So they get it. But, yeah, I hope I get some credit for it.
Absolutely.
You know?
like you said, like the, you know, that correlation to like Air Jordan, like this will make you better. You know what I mean? I love how you've got your correspondence is like, you are better. Yeah. You are good.
You are good enough.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know, you wear this hat, you are good, you're doing well.
Yeah.
You know, if you have a story to tell it.
Yeah.
Don't bottle that up, because the minute you start to bottle it up, that's when it gets really difficult.
Really difficult. Yeah, exactly. That's when things explode.
Yeah. Yeah. You know, on the side of many things, like I've had, you know, multiple mates that have really dealt with, you know, the depression and all that stuff, and they're trying to bottle it up. They're trying to just you know, get everything in together just so that they can put a brave face on the outside and smile. But on the inside, it's like, I don't feel well. Yeah. I don't want to be here, you know what I mean? And it's like, and that's okay, you know what I mean? There's nothing wrong with that. It's you've got to be able to build that courage to come out and talk about it, you know what I mean? The minute you start talking about it, the minute you start to feel better about it, it's in today's world, as sad as it is, it sounds like, oh, you know, he's got
cliche.
problems, he's got problems. It's cliche.
Yeah.
Fuck that shit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah. It's life.
Definitely.
You know what I mean?
That's real life. Yeah. You know, it's like,
you only get one.
Yeah, you only get one. And that's what I say. You just got to go full blow with it.
Yeah.
Like, the worst thing is wasted time. Like, I think of that decade that I was quiet. Yeah. That's such wasted time.
That's 10 years.
That's 10 years.
Yeah.
From next year. That's a decade.
Crazy.
I could have spoke up before. I can't blame 14-year-old me, but you know what I mean? Like the worst thing is wasted time. Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. So just don't regret that, you know? Yeah. But yeah, so that's where that came from.
That's beautiful.
It's for the underdogs, and you know, it's for anyone that's faced pushback. Yeah. That's faced the no's, you know, it's for, you know, it's the middle finger to society. Yeah. You know, it's I like that. That's fucking justice. Yeah. 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 Because
I remember, like, what I was saying, like, on your Instagram, I said you're putting all, like, posters up and everything. I thought it was so creative.
Yeah,
it was so unreal. You had the arcade, I'm pretty sure, doing a couple of shoots and stuff.
Did a few commercials there.
Unreal, mate.
Yeah,
it's cool. I mean? It's eye-catching, you know, you go, holy shit, that looks good. Yeah, what is this? Yeah. You know what I mean? And you listen in, and, like, the people that haven't listened in, you know, you've just given a nice little you know, story behind it. Like, it's crazy to think, like, you're not out there to try and make that money for yourself. You're raising this money to, you know, to better a situation that needs to be fixed. Yeah. That needs to be fixed.
Exactly. It's just, and it's a conversation piece.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's exactly what it is. Like, it's like, let's talk about this. Yeah. But that's what product does, I think. It brings people together.
Yeah,
I don't know.
100%.
I mean, I've always been like a collector of things.
Yeah.
So like to create my own product
That's
to collect
crazy.
is like pretty cool. So
yeah, I think it's a massive thing. Like it's a huge step to, like I said, to just talk about something, but to put it into physical, like physical product.
Yeah.
It's different.
Different ball game.
Yeah, different ball game. And the minute you start to do that, there's a story.
Like I said, like I continue to say,
Yeah.
I don't like to blow smoke up my own ass, but it's pretty revolutionary.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, so
I don't. Yeah, like I said, I've never quite heard of a way that you've kind of not marketed it, but the way that you've spoken about it. Just I've never heard that. That's why I'm sitting there going, wow.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like you said,
I appreciate that.
you will be better if you wear those shoes, and that you are better.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's quite powerful.
Yeah,
you know
it
what I
is.
mean? Yeah, it's awesome.
Yeah, I'm just telling kids what I wish I heard.
It's sensational.
Yeah.
It's good stuff.
Thank you.
Content condoms, another one.
Yes.
Just to add that to the list.
Another one.
You already got enough. You don't have enough time in your day, but it's unreal.
They're pretty cool.
Yeah. How good's that?
They're like, again, it's just a conversation piece. I mean, I know, like I was telling you before we hit record, a lot of like parents have bought this to teach their kids about consent and stuff, and
100%.
getting the affirmative yes, and
Yeah.
it's really important. My goal for this is to get them in schools.
Okay, I like that a lot.
I don't know how to go about it yet, but it will be in schools by next year, I hope.
There's a way.
Yeah, there's always a way.
Yeah.
Everything's figure outable.
Oh, absolutely.
Tyler Creator said that, and it was like the coolest thing ever.
I like that. Yeah. That's pretty cool.
Schools and pubs.
Okay.
The condom dispensers in
awesome.
schools. I think that's where blokes congregate. That's where they talk, and I think if we get guys acknowledging that the act of consent, like with consent and sexual assault, we all need to realise that it's not exclusively a women's issue.
Absolutely not.
So everyone needs to put their hand up and say this is an epidemic, and get involved. So
it's quite a dangerous game.
it is.
Yeah.
It is. But just having that conversation.
Yeah.
I mean, and if that's on the mantelpiece, you go home, that's on the mantelpiece, that could be the reminder.
Yeah.
Like, oh shit, I've been a dickhead and forgot to ask, but this could be that last resort.
Simple as.
So I think that's how I went about it. And again, it was just a conversation starter.
Yeah.
So similar sort of thing. But that's the goal for it, to get into schools and pubs.
Yeah.
Yeah. Condom dispensers.
Mate, as long as you've got a goal.
Like that. Yeah,
I
exactly.
feel like that's a big thing.
Yeah.
Write things down and have a goal towards the end of it. And
I do a to-do list every night for the next day. It's like my key to success.
I feel like it's a I don't know, it's like a reward. Like you do your to-do list.
Yeah, and then you check them off.
Cross it. Oh,
it's the best feeling.
It's like 9 o'clock and you've got like 30 things to do. You've already crossed 7 off.
Yeah.
It's like, shit, I've got like 23 to go.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And you're down another, 10, 15. You're like, fuck.
Yeah.
How good does that feel?
I know. It's unreal. It's the best feeling. It actually sets off a dopamine.
It does.
Science behind it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Good way to put it. Yeah.
So, I recommend it.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, you said you wanted to come on here and speak about a few things.
Yeah.
Mate, absolutely go for it. It's what we're here for.
Well, like the full stop advisory group thing, that's really important for me, and I wear that as a badge of honor. Like being able to share my story and be in a place of action where it can invoke change and change laws and stuff like that is pretty powerful.
Yeah.
And a lot of the times in these meetings, I'm the only man in the room.
Wow.
Like, it's crazy, but I'm saying 3 things there when I'm in these rooms, just by being there.
Yeah.
I'm saying this can happen to men too.
Yeah.
Sexual assault can happen to men too.
Yeah, of course.
I'm showing men that you can talk about your emotions and be okay with that,
Yeah.
which is super important in
More
today's day and age.
Yeah.
And 3, I'm showing an example to all women that I understand that this is not exclusively a women's issue or any minority group's issue for that matter. So just, it sucks that I have to be a survivor to do it, but just being a man and being like, I acknowledge that we are the perpetrators statistically most of the time.
Yeah.
And I'm willing to engage in this conversation with you to change it for the better. So that's really important. And I mean, we live in a world where the system is a rort, really. I mean, like pedophiles and rapists get a slap on the wrist compared to the victims like me that have to endure a lifetime of trauma.
Yeah.
like this is a lifelong thing.
Absolutely.
You know, I was diagnosed with bipolar in the hospital and stuff like that. So dealing with that, like bipolar 2. So I go down with like severe depression, like regularly.
Yeah.
So this is a lifelong battle. It's never going to end.
Yeah.
And we need a justice system that is going to support survivors and not put them on show.
Yeah.
And it's difficult. Like, there's a lot of nuances to it. We need to figure it out and get to the bottom of it quickly.
Put a finger on
But
it.
Full Stop's doing some really good work, and I'm proud to be there. Yeah.
So is that work at the moment kind of thing, or?
So that's like I'll show up for a meeting and like we filmed some content for it the other day.
Yeah.
Which is pretty cool.
Yeah, awesome.
Got to say some lines for the charity and stuff like that. That was pretty cool.
Yeah.
But also I just wanted to talk about quickly.
Yeah, go for it.
Did you hear the story about Cassius Turvey?
No, I didn't.
So I just want to acknowledge Cassius Turvey.
Yeah.
He was a 15-year-old Aboriginal boy who was in Perth.
Okay.
And he was walking home from school. He was in his school uniform, 15 years old.
Yeah.
And he was beaten to death with a machete and a metal pole by a white man that was yelling out racial slurs.
Fuck.
And like I'm like, the fact you haven't heard it just proves my point. There was no media outrage whatsoever. Like if that happened to me or you, it'd be all over the news.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I think silence is complicity.
Mm.
And if we're not talking about it, like we have a duty to talk about it because it's like so important. We're on their land, you know what I mean? Like it's like this kid had dreams. Like he was just a kid. He just wanted to be with his family and friends. He ran a lawnmower business where he would tell people, pay what you can. Yeah. Like he was just a kid, you know, and you have to call it what it is. It's white supremacy. I mean, to be racist like that and to beat someone to death because of the colour of their skin is a racial attack. And like I said, silence is complicity. So I just wanted to take the time out to acknowledge that and be like, I stand with the Indigenous community. And that's what I want to speak on that.
I'm with more couldn't agree more. You know, a lot of my mates are of, and actually more than mates, they're my brothers. You know, are of Indigenous culture. Yeah. And I would do anything for them. Yeah. They are family for me. Mum and dad taking them in as, you know, their own. Yeah. I have every single bit of love for them. Yeah. You know, one of them's going to be my best man one day. He doesn't know it yet, but he's a seriously good kid. Yeah. I love that bloke to death. Awesome. And you know, it doesn't matter about the colour of your skin. Yeah. No, exactly. No, you know what I mean? We live in a world where we live in a world where like white people don't acknowledge it. Yeah. And they're like, well, if I don't acknowledge it, it doesn't exist. Yeah. But that's like not good enough, because what we're really communicating is we don't want to upset our privileged life. Yeah. Like we don't want to, you know, we are in a system that benefits us and we don't want to veer from that. So, I mean, racism is very much alive, and you know, to not talk about it would be to engage in it, I feel. Yeah. So I just wanted to make that very clear. Beautiful. To the people listening. Yeah. Yeah, that's good. Yeah. Crazy you don't hear about it, Yeah, crazy you don't hear about it. Like, actually, it's disgusting that you don't hear about it. Yeah. You know? I had no idea. Yeah, so, it's like, we're like the worst house guests ever, if you think about it. Yeah. It's like we've come in, like imagine if I came into your house and like I took all your food and like and just changed all the TV channels. Yeah. And then I kicked you out on the street and I was like, this is my house now. Yeah. Yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah. 100%. It's like you would not put up with it. You'd say, get the fuck out of my house. It's not like that. You know what I mean? And like this is what we're doing to these people. Yeah. And it's just it's disgraceful, and I'm not standing for it. So. Yeah. I feel like it comes back to, you know, that story, you know, that fucking justice stuff, you know what I mean? Yeah, exactly. Like, that's why it's not quite along that road you're going to, but still, you know what I mean? It's out there, it's happening. It's an everyday thing, unfortunately. Yeah. As sad as that is to say, it is, and it's got to stop. It's got to come to an end. And talking about it will stop it. Yeah. Calling people out will stop it. Yeah, like we both, you know, agreed on. It is so hard to talk about that stuff. It's it's a different ball game. But the minute you can just say a little sentence to someone, your best mate, someone that's, of professional, advice, something like that, you've started.
You started, yeah.
And that's all you need to do.
Well, that's what we're doing right now, you know what I mean?
Right.
So, like I said, silence is complicity, so be talking about it. If anything does anything wrong when you're out with your mates or something, just call it out. Just be like, dude, that's not cool. That is fucking justice. It's,
exactly
like
right.
I said, it's for any underdog.
Yeah.
Anyone that experiences that stuff. So
yeah, it's quite crazy how everything's just the way it is at the moment, and the world is in a bit of shambles. But like we said, if you can just speak up about it and really, communicate.
It's pretty simple. Just be kinder.
Yeah, 100%.
Like you said, smiling is free.
Yeah.
Be kinder.
Absolutely.
A smile can change the world.
Oh,
it really can.
Yep.
So yeah.
Yeah, I love that.
A few things I want to talk about.
Yeah, I love that.
Important.
Yeah, beautiful. I feel like like we were touching on, going back to being the founder of these companies. Like I want to talk a bit about moving more towards the motivational side of things. I want to understand how you juggle that. Like how do you juggle all of this stuff, cram it into your day, work, as you said, at a bar,
yeah,
by night, I'm assuming.
Yeah.
How do you find the time, besides writing things down, checking things off, how do you find the time to kind of fit everything and just work your schedule out? Because it's not easy.
It's not easy.
No.
It's not easy. It's a lot of hard work.
Yeah.
But it's just doing it. Like, I don't know how, it's pretty simple.
Yeah.
Like, just doing it. I don't know, maybe I'm just different mentally.
Yeah.
I don't know. But it's just, because what's the alternative?
Yeah, exactly.
What's the alternative?
Yeah.
It's like sitting there and it not being there.
Yeah.
Like, do you want me to talk about a hat that's not sitting here right now?
Yeah, exactly.
Like, I don't know. You sort of have to go through, is what you say, your word is your bond. Like, you hear
absolutely.
that all the time.
Yeah.
And you have to sort of stick with that. Balancing is very hard. I mean, yeah, it's just, obviously you can't overwhelm yourself.
Yeah.
There's a limit to everything.
Yeah.
But yeah, like that, like we see, for example, Ned Brockman.
How insane
that was insane, right?
Like, that's
just for an
crazy.
example, right? But running, he was like the first 20 kilometers, like the feet were sore, but then for the last 80 of the day, it was just numb.
Yeah.
But you just keep going.
Just keep going.
It's like but he always says, "I'm no one special.
Yeah.
Like I'm just like everyone else."
Yeah.
And you're like, dude, you're a freak of nature.
Yeah. For people that don't know the Ned Brockman, I'm sure.
Yeah, he did a run
100 kilometers a day.
Yeah.
From Perth to Bondi, which is fucking incredible.
Yeah, he did. He wanted to do it in 41 days, but he did it in 43.
43.
Yeah. Which is like,
still insane.
Yeah, still. Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, and there was a little story about like his foot or something like that. He not fractured or some sort of.
He was basically running with broken bones.
Yeah, broken bones. They had to like tape him up or some sort of mechanism to like pull his foot up.
Yeah, right.
So like when he was running, it was just like a kind of a straight leg. So
Gotcha.
he wasn't like flexing his foot every time he'd run, which is just mind blowing because like that's crazy.
Just
to keep going.
Yeah, but that was all for a good cause too.
Yeah,
and for
absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's the thing. Like I feel like the story behind why he did it, like it just goes to show like if you can put your fucking mind to something and really, really focus in on that, write down little things, write down little jot things down to an end goal.
Yeah.
You'll be quite surprised at how quickly you can get there.
That's the point I was going to get to. The human mind is amazing.
Oh, it's incredible.
Like, don't underestimate that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And I think it's all about telling yourself as well.
Yeah.
Also, like, fake it till you make it type of thing.
100%.
You know what I mean?
I'm a big believer in that.
I'm a massive believer in that. Like, just keep telling yourself it's going to work out.
Yeah.
And it will.
Yeah. I love that. Fake it till you make it, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
Keep putting yourself first, you know what I mean? Sometimes, you might be that nice guy, you might be that person to be like, no. I want to help them out. I want to help this person out. But sometimes you just got to sit back, and just have thoughts to yourself and be like, I'm good. You know what I mean? And sometimes you got to I'm going to put myself first this time. You know what I mean? And it has to happen sometimes.
Well, you look at you see people all the time, they're constantly beating themselves up.
Yeah. Because they're not getting to where they want to be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But they still don't get where they want to be because they're too busy beating themselves up.
Yeah, they just give up.
Yeah.
I hate that. Never give up.
Never.
No matter how hard it is, there's always a light in the tunnel. I'm a big believer in that, and I feel like if you can just keep pushing every single day, you can just check one thing off, one good thing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's why I started the show.
Yeah.
If I could just get one person a day, to be like, fuck, okay, maybe I can do this.
Yeah.
Maybe I can go and start that business, that side hustle, that, you know, that clothing company, that fucking marketing, you know, anything, you know, anything.
Yeah.
Pick a camera up, start filming yourself, vlogging yourself.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? If I can get one person a day doing something like that, I'm good.
I think if you simplify the task too,
Yeah.
like the way you just said it, just get the camera and start vlogging.
Yeah.
It's not that hard then, you know what I mean? Like,
100%. It might take a couple goes.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
100%. Nothing's perfect.
Yeah, it's not normal. Yeah. And I feel like if you are perfect, you got something else coming.
Yeah, exactly.
Because you should always strive to be perfect.
Yeah.
You can never.
Get there.
It's touchy.
But if you strive to get there, you'll get pretty close.
Yeah. It's a touchy subject, and like if you feel you're perfect, by all means, I love that for you.
Yeah.
But I feel like you should always strive to be better than that.
Well, that's what I say with like ending sexual assault.
Yeah.
It's pretty naive for me to think that I'm going to completely end it.
Yeah.
But if I strive to end it, I'll get pretty damn close.
Yeah.
I know I will.
You're adding to it. You're adding to the cause. You're adding to people, and then people will realize, okay, if Harrison James can do it, mate, I can fucking do it.
Exactly.
I can speak up. I can say something.
Yeah.
I'll start that company. I'll do this. I'll do that. You know what I mean? It's all just, it comes back to that niche where it's just like, as long as someone wants to start something and it just branches out, I feel like anything's possible.
Yeah, anything is
as long
possible.
as you put your mind to it and really focus in on what you want to do, anything's possible.
Yeah. And also, like, when you start something, you inherently find community in that too.
Absolutely.
It's like amazing.
Absolutely.
I started this advocacy thing. I've got a family now.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? The survivor community is so immense, and I'm just one voice of many, you know, that are putting their hand up wanting to change this.
Yeah.
So it's like I stand on the shoulders of greatness. Like, I'm not trying to be the hero.
Yeah.
But when you do start something, you find your little niche and you find your little community.
Hang around people that want to see you succeed.
Exactly.
Because if they start to see you succeed, you want to see them succeed.
Exactly.
And then everyone just does well.
Yeah.
It's not all about success. It's not all about succeeding. Like, it could be about, you know, getting to somewhere, doing that thing you always wanted to do. Hang out with people that want to see you do well.
Yeah.
Hang out with people that, you know, are for you.
Yeah.
You know, don't change to fit someone's agenda. Don't change to feel like you have to change to, you know, because you want to be friends with them or you want to fucking fit in.
Yeah.
Nah.
And I think there's like no better community amplifies that than the survivor community.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Couldn't agree more.
Yeah. So, yeah, just do it.
It's growing every day, and that's a good thing about it. Like, I feel like the more people that, you know, really, you know, succumb to this, you know, and listen to this story, because it's going to go. It's going to take off. I've got a, you know, big feeling about this one, a good feeling.
I'm going to inspire generations. I already know it in my head. Like, I believe it.
Good.
Like, not to sound like a dick, but I'll be... This time next year, you see.
Yeah. 100%.
I'll be bigger than...
That's what I feel like, and that's a small, short-term goal.
Yeah.
Imagine, I'd like to ask the question, you know, 5 years. Imagine 5 years' time. Like, you're doing amazing things now.
Yeah.
Imagine 5 years' time.
Yeah.
Like, you could be, you know, this is just off the top of my head fancy, I think, man, you could be like the fucking Australia's, you know, #1, you know, survival advocate. Like, you know what I mean, ambassador. It's just like, you've got to dream big. You know what I mean? And like, you could be up on you know, doing like big shows and talks about this story. Like, you know what I mean? And you could sit back and go 5 years ago, I was doing well then.
Yeah.
I'm doing well now.
My end goal is to be the Prime Minister.
How good's that?
Yeah.
Fucking go for
it. Like, I really want to go for that.
Yeah. That's crazy, mate.
Eventually. Like, I'm talking when I'm like 40, 50, around there.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, you've got to have a goal.
Yeah.
If you don't have a goal, if you don't have goals, there's no point doing anything.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, and it's tough to hear that, but like, it's so cliche, and you see all these TikToks and these YouTube videos and like all this stuff. Instagram Reels, big thing at the moment. Facebook Reels are these motivational things. Like, if you don't, you know, like, for example, David Goggins getting up and talking. You know, David Goggins, he's a big runner. He was he was
not aware.
300 pounds.
Yeah, right.
Cut it down. He's just got a tough story.
Yeah,
He's an incredible human being.
Sure.
You know, Joe Rogan podcast. You know, I feel like he's just the founder of like starting a podcast.
Yeah,
it's such a big deal.
Yeah.
It's such a big thing for people, you know, to start something. And like, I feel like starting something without goals is
there's
tough.
Just no direction.
Yeah, you got nothing
like,
to strive for.
You got no North Star.
Yeah, exactly.
You
right.
know, like, we need that.
100%.
So, yeah. But like when you mentioned TV and stuff as well, I just quickly wanted to mention media has a fundamental role to play.
Does it what?
In this, what I'm talking about here. They really, like we saw it, they're changing a little bit, but we need to support survivors more in media. I just want to put that out there. But yeah, it's because they have such an influence on what they create. Like they create the public opinion.
Oh, absolutely.
Like a majority of it.
Yeah, of course.
Like now with ulterior things like TikTok and conspiracy theories and stuff, there's different.
Which is so incredible.
Yeah.
Like it's free.
Like there's,
free videos, free marketing, free whatever the hell you want.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And all it takes is one video to be like, okay, this is powerful. You know what I mean?
Well, I think that's why my video took off. Because like I
did
think
so well.
I think people who on Instagram is going to go out with that story.
I know.
Who's going to go on there and film that and put that on? To be
very courageous, like we said.
Thank you, but like I think people responded to the honesty of it.
Yeah.
Because Instagram is so false.
Oh, no.
Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, 100%.
It's so false. And like when you, like, it's striking to see that. I think that's why it did well.
Yeah. It was awesome. It was a great listen.
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah, like it's, you know what I mean, like a great listen.
Yeah, like it was inspiring.
Inspiring story, you know what I mean? Because you don't hear that shit. That's it's just still mind blowing to me today. Like I see,
thank you.
Wow, man, like, you know, man, like we went to school together from year 7 to 12, and like you're walking around, you know,
what about no idea? Yeah,
you know what I mean? And like, to this, you know, until I seen the video, I'm sitting there going like, wow.
Yeah.
Like, I used to walk past, you know, yourself, Harry, and just be like, how are you, mate? What's going on?
Yeah.
I'm good, yeah.
Yeah.
How's life? How's, you know, Auntie Holly, you know?
Yeah.
It's just like, it's quite crazy to think now, like that was happening. You know what I mean? Like, and
yeah, it is pretty insane.
Yeah.
But hey, like that just proves a point that all the listeners can take from that. You never know what anyone is going through. So like we were saying before, it's free to smile.
Yeah, 100%.
It's cool to be kind.
Do it.
Yeah. Just you never know what anyone's going through. Yeah.
So big question like we were touching before, like 5 years from now, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know, where does Harrison James want to be? Like, what do you want to be doing, you know, in terms of like family, career, businesses, you know, like we talked about being an ambassador.
Yeah.
You know, like where do you see yourself in 5 years time? Where do you want to be?
5 years.
It's tough.
It is.
It's not easy to answer. But yeah, like just what do you?
So like, my goal is to have a national tour.
Okay.
Like an Australian tour.
Yep.
Where I go around and tell my story.
Yeah, I love that.
And that's like a really big goal of mine to achieve.
Yeah.
Australian of the Year, it's a big thing that I want to land.
And so doable.
Yeah, so doable.
I like that. I really like that.
Yeah. I think for the year of 2023, I really want to knuckle down on working with politicians.
Okay, cool.
Like, it's great to go to a politician with your story, but unfortunately it falls on deaf ears a little bit. But if you go in with an action plan and you're like, okay, this is my story and I want to hit these targets, I want to hit this and this. What's within the realm of possibility for you to help me here?
Yeah.
So like, that's like, there's a few things that I want to sort of get changed in regard to like how children consume the internet and the content they're consuming.
Yep.
And like, I have no idea to license the internet, but it's just too hard to do, right?
I like where you're going with
but
it.
Like,
tough.
Yeah, but something around internet safety for children.
Oh, like
is something that I want to work on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like that.
So that'll be the next year, but 5 years, the Australian tour.
Yep.
Just growing the clothing brand.
Yep.
Because I love making it. Yeah. It's just fun.
It's an addiction.
Yeah.
It becomes an addiction.
Yeah, it does.
You know, make it a good addiction, a healthy addiction.
Yeah. And just, I'd love to have a foundation that achieves charitable status.
Yeah.
You know, where you can get like, you know, when you give over $2, you get tax back, it's tax deductible and stuff. So I'd love to achieve that status at like a Harrison James Foundation or something like that. That could be cool. Yeah. To empower survivors, but
awesome.
There's some of my targets I want to hit.
Still going with the businesses, of course.
You know.
Yeah,
definitely.
Yeah.
maybe other businesses
Yeah,
too.
yeah,
You know, like I have a lot of ideas.
yeah,
I always wanted to do children's programming too,
yeah, right.
like television, animated shows and stuff like that.
Okay,
Yeah.
yeah, cool.
So I think that's a good avenue to get in. Because
Yeah.
education for kids is really important.
I like that.
Teaching them preventative measures, like things like boundaries, when to say no,
Yeah,
things that don't sort of, impair their childhood or corrupt it,
Yep.
so to speak, but just give them a little bit of knowledge.
love that.
Yeah. So
Yeah, I feel that's what you're doing
yeah.
in more ways than one.
Yeah.
Like, and it's quite incredible.
Thank
Like I
you.
said, it's a big deal. You know,
Yeah.
taking that step, and I
Yeah.
feel like you've fucking hit the nail on the head.
Yeah. I think beyond 5 years, I don't want to be defined by being molested.
Yeah,
I want to be defined by what I'm doing now.
Yeah.
Like my
Yeah.
resilience to come
Yeah.
back,
come out of it.
and
really
like my leadership
yeah,
and my bravery, my ability to articulate what I've been through.
yeah,
I want to be defined by the fact that I run a survivor-owned business.
Yeah,
Like
okay.
that's super important.
fucking hope it is.
The room for improvement is the biggest room in the world. So I'll
I like
continually grow,
that. I like that a lot.
and as I continue to grow, I just want to get my reach
Yeah, empower
even
people.
bigger.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I feel that's very strong.
Because as I've said, it's an epidemic. There's a lot of people that go through this,
Yeah,
but there's a lot of people that are silent about it too.
yeah, and I ain't where to speak.
Mm.
Not a chance.
Yeah.
That's a
So-
big thing. So,
Mm.
mate, that was awesome. Anything else you wanted to touch on?
No, I'm
No?
happy.
That was
yeah.
really good.
Yeah.
Mate,
Thank you.
crazy.
Thank
It's
you.
an absolute honour to have you on.
Yeah,
here,
thank
mate.
you so
Seriously.
much for having me. I
Mate.
really appreciate it.
Mate, it's Harris James on Instagram.
It's Harry James
It's Harry James.
on
We'll
Instagram.
plug it down in the bottom, put in the link.
HarrisonJames.org is my website,
Okay.
and that's pretty much it.
Yeah. Consent condoms.
Fucking justice.
Fucking justice.
All links to Polished Man and everything, if should you wish to
Yeah.
donate. Yeah,
Mate, hop on the Instagram. He's doing really well.
thank you.
He's got a pretty good following at the moment. It's quite crazy.
Pretty good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's awesome. So you're doing really well there. So make sure you give him a follow, and yeah, let's get your story out there because I
Thanks,
feel
brother.
like we need to.
Yeah, it's really
It
important.
needs to happen.
Thank you.
Yeah, mate. Pleasure to have you on. Wrongs to Riches, guys. Thanks for tuning in.